Welcome back to the Life Game Design Podcast. Today's episode is with Tristen. He's a qualified sports nutritionist, a health coach with his own business, and soon to be a registered clinical nutritionist. Just like me, he's in the process of turning his creativity into contribution. If you know the OctaCore Framework that I created in my app, Life Game Design, you'll know that it's about understanding, organizing, and optimizing every area of our life. And what I mean by turning creativity into contribution means turning your side hustle into something that's going to pay for you. That's something that you can do for full-time employment. And that's exactly the mission that both me and Tristen are on in our respective businesses. In this series of podcasts, I asked my high-achieving friends to tell me their list of achievements in 2023, and then I help them expand that list into all the different areas that they can find achievement within the different areas of OctaCore. After we make what I call our OctaCore achievements board that shows all of these achievements within each category, then I get them to rank the achievements based on a simple tier list system of bronze, silver, gold, and diamond. I let them do that, sit back, and then during the podcast, I figure out what they've ranked and how meaningful all those different achievements are to them. If you were like me 5 years ago and you had no idea what fulfilled you anymore, nothing seemed to make you happy, it's really good to see how someone else designs their life to be fulfilling, and that will leave clues to figure out what that will mean for your own life. That's all the context you'll need to dive into this podcast, so let's get to it. So basically, what I wanted to do is just have a look at the distribution, because we made this list together in terms of what have been your fulfilling memories throughout the year in terms of all these different areas of life. And I just want to see how you feel about the distribution of them, especially. Because when we scroll down, we can really see where your attention lies by looking at a visualization of your whole life, especially in terms like this, that is quite meticulous. It will start to bring out certain emotions and ideas in you. They'll be like, oh, wow, I can't believe I spent so much time. I can't believe I had so much within this area. Or, oh, I can't believe I don't have much in this area. And I made this framework to not tell people what they should do with their lives, but for them to have a framework to intuit that themselves by logging the things that they do and considering everything they do in all areas of life as an achievement in itself. I mean, we were talking before about the fact that, just something as simple as going to the beach does so much for you, right? But if we were talking about a traditional PDF where you had like a yearly reflection set of questions, you would never write going to the beach. You'd be like, oh, I got like this many clients and all this business success metrics and things like that.
You forget about the small things.
Exactly, which I'm sick of. And that's exactly what I'm trying to do with the frame of life game design, because we shouldn't... Okay. I'm not going to say we shouldn't, but if we design our lives like a business, it will feel like working for a business.
Yeah. True.
If we design our lives like a game, it will feel like a game. And the thing with games is that not all of it is fun. There's a lot of frustrating and annoying things gamers put up with that they do that they don't even get paid for, man. Like, I have put in thousands of hours into games that I did not get shit from. But it's the core principle of designing a framework and designing for fulfillment that game designers understand, and it's why gamers get hooked into things that they love, they're passionate about, and they love improving and being productive within games, but they don't understand how to design that in their own lives.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm trying to do, and this is the framework I use to understand what that even looks like. What does a fulfilling life look like in life in general? And we can't get to that point unless we literally see what our life looks like in all the different areas of life. So the question is, do you feel like the distribution that you see here is aligned to what you intended with the year?
Yes and no. It's there's obviously room for improvement in some areas.
Yep.
And especially in the persistence and life force.
Yep.
I mean, like last year, my attention was so focused on building the business and getting that started. Yeah. And yes, starting a company, it takes a shitload of time. You have to and having a full-time job and doing this on the side, it's kind of like there's not enough hours in the day, you know? So like I would wake up in the mornings, 5 o'clock in the morning, and I would work on my company, and I would like start, you know, continue building the website or, you know, do research, reading, all that stuff to further gain my knowledge and stuff. And then...
And that's on work days, sorry?
That's on work days.
Yeah.
That's on work days. And then I would go to my full-time job as an auditor, and I would sit in front of the PC for 8 hours a day and travel quite a lot as well, because we go to clients and do the audits over there. And then after work, I would go to CrossFit, spend like an hour and a half over there, get back home, have dinner, you know, get ready for work the next day, maybe work a little bit more on the company, just depending on the time, etc., because I need to get sufficient sleep as well, right? Because that's really important.
Yeah.
So I would go to like at bed at like 10 p.m. or so and wake up at 5. So on average, I would get, just over 7 hours of sleep, which is okay, but more is better.
And you know that more than anyone.
Exactly. So I think my attention was just more towards the company, and I kind of neglected other areas of my life. And I didn't see that at first, like, because I was so focused on growing the company and just like, I want to be successful. I want to quit my full-time job as an auditor and do the nutrition job full-time because it's my passion and help people. But doing that, I kind of lost track of everything else. And like just there were certain things that happened in life where I was like, oh, hang on a sec. Like, life is not just about being successful and building your own company and, you know, helping people. Yeah, it's great to have all that, but you got to make room for all the other things, like with this framework over here and like the distribution. I can see now, like I said, the persistence and the life force. That's lacking quite a few things. And now I need to think, okay, well, what do I have to do to be a bit better in those areas? And I guess the only way to do that is to reflect with this framework, which is great. And I can see now, like, oh, hang on, you know, like, cool, I've spent so much time on all the other things, but I neglected that or other things. So it's just like, well, will life be more fulfilling and will I gain more happiness if I add things to the areas that I lack in? And I guess, why not? Because if you've got more of things that you lack, like, you just never know if it will be better or not. You have to try, right? So I guess I need to work on a few things. But there's obviously a lot of things that I'm happy about.
Let's point out those, because I would say, sorry, just to interject, that even if you did have a lack in some areas, it may be that you wouldn't have made the strides you made within the business if you tried to balance your life in such a flat way. So one thing about this framework is that there are going to be different seasons of life for all of us where it's either all going to be a flat balance, or we're going to leave every other area of life at maintenance, where we have to put a minimal amount of effort to keep that area of life afloat, basically. And it's just like with resistance training, you know, the amount of sets we need to do per week to maintain muscle is nothing compared to the amount of sets per week we need to build muscle, right? And the same, I feel, is like with learning new skills and basically managing areas of life. And the fact that if we really want to build on an area of life, we need to put a lot of effort and energy into them. So that means the areas of life that we put focus in and the achievements within them are going to be completely skewed sometimes. And I feel like if we think of balance as just being the fact that all of these areas are equal, we're not really going to get anywhere. We're just spinning at the wheels. And this is a concept I learned from the book Essentialism by Greg McKeown. And the fact that the people who achieve success in any of these areas, and especially from the podcast I love listening to called Diary of the CEO, is that these people who build these insane companies have to sacrifice all these other things, because our time is infinite. We we can't perfectly balance out our lives. So we have to choose which attribute or which area of life we are going to spend attention in. And so, yeah, focusing on the areas that you're proud of, I guess, especially in creativity with you, starting your own business last year.
Yeah.
How was that, man?
Yeah, that's been a really cool journey.
Yeah.
And really tough as well. Obviously, startups are always difficult. What is it, 1% of people who start their company actually succeeds, where most companies fail within 2 to 3 years.
Yeah.
So May this year would be 1 year that my company is up and running.
Yeah.
So I'm happy that I survived, almost survived 1 year.
Yeah.
But in terms of did I reach the goals and what I set for the company? Maybe not. So it's still an interesting journey. I've learned a lot. I had to learn a lot. I mean, I didn't know anything about business, right? Yeah. I had to learn everything myself. Yeah. And learning that is reading books, listening to podcasts, just talking to other people, learning what needs to be done, and finding out the hard way, putting in this work. Like you said, you have to sacrifice a few things to make your dream come true. And people will not see that. People don't know what your dreams are. They don't know what needs to be done in order to get there. And people will judge you for that. You will lose a lot of friends, you'll lose loved ones or whatever. People will be like, oh, why are you doing this? You're crazy. But they don't see the dream that you see. Yeah. They don't know what you're working towards. So it's been interesting. I've learned a lot. And there's still room for improvement and to learn more. Yeah. I mean, this is just first year, right? So I know business it's up and down. I've experienced that now already within the first year. I had 4 or 5 clients at once and I was like, shit, this is going really well. And then all of a sudden it dropped to 1 and nothing. And then it's oh shit, what do I have to do now in order to get back to at least having 2 clients? Keeping that cash flow and investing in the business again. Yeah. And over and over and over again, company is most probably not going to be profitable for the first 3 years. No way, yeah. And I mean, I'm still young, but I'm also getting to that point where I need to start thinking about the future, 30, 40, 50 years from now. Where do I want to be? Do I want to live comfortably? Or do I want to, not be well off? So... yeah, it's sacrifices definitely I had to take or to make in order to pursue my dream. Yeah. And just need to keep on doing that. But
totally, man.
It's been interesting.
I definitely want to make a point on that because I guess sacrifice is something that you don't have a choice with. But I guess if it's something that you're pursuing your dream on, then you are going to make the choice that, one area of life is not as important as focusing on this for you, whether that be in terms of productivity, whether that be in terms of actually this is a season where I need to chill out because I have been going way too hard. And you experienced that a bit, especially because you had the craziest year at work, didn't you?
Yeah, so full-time work, I have never been so busy in my life last year. I started off the year doing 12 audits at once.
And just to be clear for I guess the audience and even me, very specifically, you do auditing, right? And what does that, I guess, look like in terms, and what are you auditing?
So auditing is all about auditing the company's financial statements. So every year a company has to produce financial statements to see what their profit is and blah, blah, blah. So we make sure that what they say in their financial statements is materially correct and that there's no fraud. They comply with laws and regulations. They've filed all their tax returns and GST returns, for example, to the IRD. So that's what we do. And what that typically looks like is we go to clients, to their premises, and we sit there and we audit their financials. So we request invoices, documentation, blah, blah, blah. Not look for fraud, but if we come across it, we need to report them. So doing 12 audits at once means I was busy with 12 companies' audits. So that was it was like I just didn't know where to go. Like it was just like get in early morning, just grind, like take half an hour lunch breaks instead of an hour just to get through the work overtime. We don't get paid for overtime.
You're kidding.
Yeah. So like, and then it's like the client calls you, then this one calls you, and then you have to start a new audit. So it's like, you don't even finish one audit and then the next one starts. You know, so like keeping up with that was just so crazy. And on top of that, traveling last year was crazy. Like I went to Wellington 3 times, went to Christchurch twice, went to Aussie once. And twice to Wellington was for secondment for audit. So that was Audit New Zealand General that I worked for 2 weeks. So I didn't do any auditing work for my company, but it was for Audit New Zealand because they need help.
Yep.
So I didn't do anything for 2 weeks for my company. And when I got back, just like tons of emails. And it's like, oh, I need to finish this. So it's just like, can I just have a break? It was like, can I just chill a little bit?
But you probably didn't get one.
No, I did not. No.
So how did you make that for yourself? How did you manage the stress of all of that stuff, man?
Well, I just like kind of took it day by day, really. Like that's what I just do now. Just take it day by day. What I can do, I can do. Like I'm not a robot. Like I can't do things faster, or I'm not programmed to do that. Like I'm a human being, right? So if the company or the people expect me to get this all done, but they don't deliver, or the client doesn't deliver, what else do you expect me like to do? I can't speed up the process. So I was just like, you know what? I'm just going to sit back and just go with the flow. Yes, it was stressful. Yes, I had to like come up with ways to cope. So one big thing is staying active. Like, so no matter what, like I went through, like with this busy period, I still went to CrossFit every single day. And that kind of just gave me the energy to keep on going every day. Yeah. Because I've noticed if I don't exercise for like 3-4 days, my energy levels plummet. Like it just drops so much. And I'm like, why am I so tired? Yeah. And like, it's like almost like brain fog. You know? Like I just like, I can't think, and I was like, something is wrong. So that was one of the ways, is just staying consistent with my habits, with my routine, going to CrossFit every day, even though it didn't felt like I wanted to. It's those days that matter. And just staying healthy, eating good food, hydrating, you know, just staying on top of everything and asking for help if I needed to. Especially if I actually went to my manager and I was like, hey, I'm drowning in work. Like, I need help. I can't do this by myself. So just being open and honest with them as well. Because if you don't take care of yourself, how do you expect others to help you? Like, you know?
That was something that you learned from your dad, wasn't it?
It was, yes, exactly. And I learned that from a really young age. I was like primary school when he told me that, and it stuck with me till the day. So and it was just like, well, if I can't help myself, how do I expect others to help me? So I was like, okay, well, in order to help myself to cope with this workload and the stress, I need to ask for help. So I went to my manager and my boss and I was like, listen, I'm drowning in work. I can't do any more audits. Like I'm doing 12 at once.
It was at that point,
That was at that point. I was like, I just can't do it. Like, please, like just take the load off of me a little bit, or get someone to help me. So yeah, we all went through a busy period, but yeah, I guess that was like the main parts or the things that I did to just remain calm, relax, take the stress off. And just one of the other things, just going to the beach. I mean, that's where I'm just so like peaceful and calm. I don't think about anything when I'm at the beach. I can sit on the beach and like stare into the ocean and just like get lost in time. Which is nice, and I just wind down. And then everything all of a sudden just feels better. Like I feel calm, relaxed. And I was like, okay, tomorrow's just another day. We just do what we always do. Just go in, do the work, do the best what you can, because essentially you can only do what you can, right?
Yeah.
If you give it your best, it will, you will achieve whatever you want to. It might not be with an instant moment, but it will maybe take time. But you just gotta continue and enjoy life, really.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess those were the main things that I did to manage the stress and just keep going. I mean, once you do that, like the year flew by so fast, and I was like, oh, finally I can have a bit of a break now.
Especially, that's really what I wanted to try and give you a slice of today, because building this list with you, I didn't give you the longest amount of time to create a list of everything that happened last year, but we started with, I believe, 16, right?
11.
Sorry, 11,
11, yeah.
11. What are we at now? We're at 59. So that's good. I think you've probably got the most out of all of my friends that I've done this with, and
Let's see if someone can beat me.
yeah. I mean, I hope so, because we only spent less than an hour expanding your list from 16 to 59. And imagine if this was a consistent practice, there's so much stuff that we are all not giving ourselves credit for. One, because we don't take the time, we don't think it's important. But two, we think of success and achievement in our life as business metrics. Did I hit this % body fat? Did I hit this PR? Did I nail these 2 clients? Like that. Like we're working for a boss we don't even know about. Whereas there's so many things that give us peace of mind, especially.
Yeah.
That we will do hard things for, and still, at the end of the day, be far more proud of it than just hitting some random number. So I don't know if you've looked into or heard about like traditional life gamification at all. No. Basically, within there, they're like, there's literally no difference between having like a gamified life and just like the normal metrics that a business would measure. But then you've got this random fluff of like, you got this like XP leveling algorithm. You've got this like cringy ass like reward system where like, if I do like 10 runs in a week, then I get to like, I don't know, lie on the couch for 30 minutes. Like, what the fuck are you doing, bro?
Yeah.
Where my turn of life game design is like, you don't have to earn your leisure. This is something that needs to be designed into it, and something that game designers literally understand to a depth that I sometimes myself can't even comprehend. The gaming industry is bigger than Hollywood movies and music combined.
Damn.
It's fucking crazy.
That's huge.
Right? I still go crazy at that stat.
I never even thought about that. I don't even know. Wow.
Right?
That's crazy.
And it's because they've hacked human fulfillment, basically. They understand it so much. And things that game designers do especially is that they don't just make you do the fun thing all the time. They stop you from doing that so you're more compelled to it. And they give you a branch of things to understand what are the things that are going to be most fulfilling to me in the game that I want to pursue and achieve and things like that. And then they reward you. They visually show you all the things that you've ever done. The most achievement systems within games, or even a game like Skyrim where you have like weapons and armor. And that is an embodiment of all the achievements that you've had. And it builds on each other. But basically, what life is lacking is design in itself. In the modern world, we don't know how to design our lives, because before we had such an abundance of technology, our lives were already designed to be fulfilling. So if you see people who live in very traditional like villages out in nowhere, they don't have the technology and privileges that we do. They are so much more fulfilled with their lives, even with all the comforts and privileges that we have, because like you said before, you've got your exercise that you really need to dial in, but for them it's just a way of life. There's a village where they need to hike like 10 Ks every day to get water. They don't have to schedule in time to go to the gym. That's part of their life, and they are so much happier than people who literally just turn a faucet on a tap to get their water. And it's crazy. I think it's sad, but that's the thing. Because we have all this privilege, now we need to understand that we need to redesign all of those kind of things into our life. because they're missing. And it's stupid that the countries that have the highest amount of prosperity in the Western world are the most depressed,
Yeah.
which is, it doesn't make any sense.
You always want more.
Yes.
And more is not always great.
No, and that's what we have to teach ourselves, right?
Yeah.
I want to focus on your most fulfilling memories on all of these areas of life. So I got you to rank them, and I haven't seen it yet, so I'm pretty excited to see this. And I'm glad you actually have quite a lot of like big highlights within the diamond tier. And let me just scroll down. You have a bunch in the gold tier,
Yeah.
14, and only 7 in bronze. So that means to me that a lot of the stuff that you've listed here has been like quite significant, which is really awesome. So yeah, I just wanted to go through from the top down, just talk about what pops out to you in terms of this. I'll let you think about it and be like, yeah, what pops out to you and why is it such a impactful or significant thing that you've put there?
Yeah. Connecting with my family overseas, because they still back home in South Africa. So I talk to them every week. And then there's also one where I finally bought flight tickets to go and visit them.
Yeah. And you're doing that this year?
Yes, I'm doing it in February. So,
so
27 days left.
Yes.
Yeah.
I bet you're counting them down, man.
I am. And the best thing is that they don't know I'm coming. It's a surprise.
Cool.
Yeah, so no one knows except my best mate. He's going to come pick me up at the airport.
Gotcha.
So yeah, no one knows. So hopefully they don't see this podcast.
It won't be released by then. I'll take a while to go through it, so don't worry about that.
Yeah, so it's a surprise. They don't know I'm coming.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess those are the top ones for me. Again, with the company one, it's because I've been doing auditing for 7 years now. And I just got to that point, so I'm just like, I'm tired of this. Like, I don't want to do it anymore. You know, it's not fulfilling anymore. It's not my passion anymore. Yeah, when I started off, it was. I was like, yeah, this is awesome. I want to do this for the rest of my life. And I was like, do I really want to? So yeah, just starting the company was like, it's a really, really big achievement for me, because I actually took the time and thought. And I was like, okay, well, what do I want in life? Like, do I want to sit in a job where I don't feel fulfilled? People don't really, I wouldn't say they don't care, but like it's like a robot.
Yeah.
You just go in, do your thing, go home, no, you know? So I was just like, well, I'm passionate about sports. I'm passionate about nutrition. I mean, I've been doing it for my whole life.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, now's the time to do it.
Yeah.
And yeah, so that's why just like creating the company is one of the biggest achievements. I can actually live my dreams one day, you know, and help people. And that's the other thing, is I love interacting with people.
Yeah.
I love helping them achieve their goals because it brings me joy.
Yeah.
I love going the journey with them and celebrating the success with them as well.
Yeah.
You know, like if there's hiccups, it's fine. Like you said, in life, it's like that. It's not a linear progression, right? It's like you're going to have your ups and downs.
Yeah.
And just going through that with them brings me joy.
Yeah.
So that's the business side. And then the family side, yeah, it's like I haven't seen them in 4 years since I moved to New Zealand.
Yeah.
Because of COVID and the lockdowns, and the flight tickets were just shit expensive. So it took me literally 4 years to save up and buy a flight ticket.
Yeah.
And
That's
luckily,
huge.
I got it on a special.
Yeah.
So I was just like scrolling through Instagram one day at work.
Okay.
Like I was just like, I need a break.
Yeah.
I was just like, okay, let's go through.
It was on your break.
On my break. So I remember it was like late afternoon. So I was just like, nah, I don't feel like working now. Let's just take a small break.
Yeah.
So I scrolled through Instagram and I saw Singapore Airlines just pop up. I don't even follow them. I didn't even know they're on Instagram.
Yeah.
So I think it was an ad. So it just popped up and it was like, oh, we got specials on flight tickets now. I was like, no way. So I quickly hopped on on the laptop, computer laptop.
Yeah.
I mean, work laptop.
Yeah.
So I was like, Singapore Airlines. So I quickly went in. I was like, holy shit, their flight tickets are so cheap.
Let's go.
Cheap compared to what it was before.
I see. Yeah.
And I was like, okay, don't rush in. Just like breathe.
Yeah.
Go home tonight. Have a good look at it, because you don't want to buy when you're in a rush, because you might like make a mistake, or you might find a better deal.
Yeah.
So I was just like, okay, close that, finish work, go to CrossFit, go home and have a look. And I was like, okay, fast forward, went home, opened up my laptop, went on Singapore Airlines. I was like, okay, I want to go more or less these dates. So let's see the flight tickets there, or the prices. And then I was like, hang on a sec, let's compare that to Emirates. And I was like, because I've flown with both before.
Yep.
And I was like, okay, let's open Emirates. And there you have it. They've got a special as well.
Oh.
And I was like, okay, well, I've had better experience with Emirates in the past. So I'd rather go with them. And it was like a $70 difference. Like Emirates was $70 more, but the total travel time was less than Singapore.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, well, the special, like, I might not get this again.
Yeah.
So I'm going to bite the bullet and just buy it.
Yeah.
So like from 3,800 was the cheapest flight ticket I could get to $2,000.
Yeah.
And I was like, I save $1,800. You know, like, why not buy?
Here we go.
So
Here we go.
I did
And this is without mentioning it to your family at all.
No, they don't know. Not at all. And this was last year in October when the specials came out.
Yeah.
And like ever since my grandma's, like some of their friends, family came to New Zealand as well, because they also got the special. So my grandma told me about the special, and I was like, oh, okay, yeah, cool. That sounds nice. Meanwhile, I know about the special because I bought the flight tickets.
Have you been kind of like dropping in hints? Because like when you go over there, what if they're like really busy and they can't really spend time with you? Have you been kind of like,
you know what,
probing a little bit and stuff?
No, I have not dropped any hints.
Yeah.
I almost gave it away once.
Okay.
And I was like, shit, keep quiet. Because I want to keep it a secret. I think it's going to be really great to do that.
Yeah.
And I know my family will be really happy to see me. Yeah, it's going to be at the time that they work, but
I think they would drop everything.
they would make time. They would. I mean, and their company, their work would understand, because, I mean, it's family and haven't seen them for 4 years. And it's also over the time where it's my mom's birthday and mine. So our birthdays are literally a week apart.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, this is a great time to go. Like, and our birthdays are on a Friday. So she's one Friday, I'm the next Friday.
Oh, good. Yeah.
And so I thought, well, if I go before our birthdays, which is in March, so I'm going in February.
Yep.
We can maybe like take a long weekend, like maybe Friday to a Monday, where they can just take 2 days off of work, and then we can go away for our birthdays and have some family time together. So, and we can celebrate our birthdays together. So I was like, well, maybe that's a good idea.
Yeah.
And I know they will do something like that. I mean, it's just 2 days off of work. So yeah, so that's a surprise. They don't know. I'm really excited. I can't wait.
Yeah. What kind of things are you thinking about doing with them?
Oh, honestly, I haven't thought about it. I just want to spend time with them. Like, I don't care what we do. We can sit alongside the pool and just chill, or, you know, have a beer together, or, you know, just whatever. I just want to spend time with them.
Yeah.
I just want to chat to them. I don't care about like doing big things. Like, I just want quality time with them.
Gotcha.
And especially with my great grandma, because she's also on the diamond ranking.
Yeah.
So she turned 90 last year in November, and before that she had a really big fall, and she was in ICU for 4 weeks, and we didn't think she's gonna make it. And
4 weeks is a long time.
It's
to
a long
think
time.
about all of this.
For me, it felt like 4 months. Being so far away from them, and like my grandma and my mom, they couldn't even go into the ICU because it's so like restricted and stuff. So whenever I spoke to them, and they were at the hospital, they actually just like had to show me over the phone, like through the window, that my grandma is there and she's okay, and like she's just there. And I was like, oh, this is not great. So we didn't think that she's going to make it. So that's one reason why I decided, you know what, I'm just going to buy the flight ticket, because she's getting old.
Yeah.
And you can see she's like, you can see the age is getting to her. And so going now to visit them might be the last time that I see her, because she's old.
Totally, man.
So, and that's why she's on top of the list, because I just want to spend the last bit of time with her while I hope she's got another 10 years, you know. Like that would be awesome. But this is just like a precaution, just in case something does happen, then at least I've seen her for one last time. Because it's, like I said, it's been 4 years that I haven't seen them. And so that's why she's there, and just family as well. Because they're obviously a big part of my life, especially my great-grand. I can remember so much memories from when I was a little boy, like her picking me up at school and like, you know, having all fun, and she's putting me to bed and blah, 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 and all that stuff. So it goes a long way back. So she's really important to me. And so the rest of my family as well. So that's why those ones are on top of the list.
Yeah, I can see that, man. Honestly, that really touches me, because I think you'll look back on it as probably one of the best decisions you've ever made, because I made a mistake in the fact that I put off seeing my English grandmother, and she ended up passing away. Because I thought I just didn't understand the priority in my life, really. And it killed me, and to this day it still kills me. But now that emotion serves me to remember that these relationships, attachment especially, matters so much more than if I were to read more books, or if I were to make more progress on the app, or whatever. That means nothing in the grand scheme of connecting with the people you love, right?
Yeah, totally understand, and 100% agree with you.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, it's just like, I feel like sometimes people take things for granted. You know, it can be the smallest thing, like you said, and this is the whole point about this app that you developed, right? It's just recognizing the small things as well. And people take it for granted. Like, just as another example, like, yes, I lived in South Africa, like I grew up there, and I've never been to Cape Town.
Wow.
And it's like, whenever I tell people that, like my friends or like any South African, they're like, how have you never been to Cape Town? And I was like, well, I live there. So I was just like, you know, I can just hop on it. Like, where I'm from is really far from Cape Town. It's like 12 to 14 hour drive, like 2 hour flight to over 2 hours. It's like from here to Christchurch, right?
Okay.
So it's really far.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, you know, I can just, you know, hop on a plane and go whenever I want. But you just don't think about it. You just think, oh, well, it's within reaching distance. I can go whenever. But things happen in life. Like, here I am in New Zealand. I've never been to Cape Town. You know, so people just take things for granted. And it's just recognizing those small things and making time for that is really important, because like you said, one day you're going to look back and be like, why didn't I do this? Like, I should have done it.
Yeah, man. I can do you one worse on that. I've been in New Zealand my whole life. I've never been to the South Island once.
Really?
I know, it's so bad. I see these people who are traveling, and they're like, oh yeah, I went to the South Island. Have you been there? No. No, you've probably seen more of New Zealand than I have in my whole life. And I'm like, fuck, I need to do that. I'm going to take your advice, man.
Do it, man. You have to. South Island is cool. Like, I've just been there for work, like twice.
Really? Christchurch, right?
Yeah, Christchurch. I've been in Christchurch twice.
Yep.
And it's just different. Hey, like the life there and the people there are just so different. It's nice. I really like Christchurch, but I won't be able to live there.
Yeah.
Like,
I know
there's just like nothing going on there.
Yeah.
Well, from what I know, I mean, the locals can maybe tell me something else, but I really enjoyed it. It's like really flat and open. It's like there's a lot of cyclists because it's so flat.
Yeah, it must be. Yeah. It must be so good.
It's cool. It's really nice. It was a bit chilly, but I don't know if I can live there. Yeah. Also because of the cold, and it snows there, and I was like, not my jam.
Yeah. I feel you, man. Is there anything that pops out to wrap up the diamond tier that you want to cover?
Yeah, maybe. Well, I've spoken about the company and family, but one thing that I missed over here is it's still connected to family, but
Yep.
it's so I put here parents going vegan.
There we go.
Yeah, so this is a really interesting story. So when I was still back home in South Africa, I obviously I grew up eating meat and all that stuff. Like
Yep.
meat is a really big part of our culture in South Africa. And when I moved to New Zealand, I was like, I'm gonna try something. So I went pescatarian for 8 months, more or less. And then I was like, okay, well, let's go full on and go vegan.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, let's do this. And I thought about this like way before, but I wasn't educated about it. I didn't know about any veganism. Like I didn't know about it.
Yeah.
Not enough to convince me to do it.
Yeah.
So I did a lot of research, reading, blah, blah, blah. And then I was like, right, I'm going to do it. So I told my parents when I went vegan, I was like, hey, guys, I'm going vegan. And my mom was really supportive.
Yeah.
But my dad was like, no, don't do it. You can't even eat bread. And I was like, yes, I can. So there's a lot of things that I can eat.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I went vegan in August 2020. Obviously, after I went vegan and building my company, like I've done a lot of research into veganism, and I just came to the conclusion like, well, my family is important to me, and because I'm here and they back home, I want them to live a healthier life, a longer life, so that we can visit each other more often and spend more time with each other. So I tried to get them to go vegan for the past 3 years.
Yeah.
And I wasn't like telling them like, hey, you have to do that. No. I was just like leading by example, just like showing them that it is possible. You can do it. You can thrive on a plant-based diet. And last year, towards the end of the year, we hopped on our call on a usual Sunday. And they were like, we've got news. And I was like, oh, no, don't tell me something in the family happened again. Because I lost 2 family members last year as well. And then plus my great-grand that almost passed away. And I was just like, oh, no, please no, not now again.
Yeah.
And they were like, we're going vegan. And I was like, wait, what?
Tell me someone died. What?
Yeah. And I was like, wait. I almost fell off my chair and I was like, did I hear that correctly?
Yeah.
And they were like, yeah, we're going vegan. I was like, so what made you go vegan? And they were like, well, we watched this documentary called What the Health on Netflix. And I was like, I've been preaching all that stuff to you guys for the past 3 years. And it only takes a documentary to convince you. And I was like, why didn't you listen to me in the first place? But I mean, yeah, if it was me that influenced them or the documentary or both, it could be both. Which I think they know it's because of me as well, because I mean, I'm living proof that it is possible.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, they just decided, yep, we're going to do it. And so they've started, so they went vegan and I'm helping them out now as well, which is great. So because they're obviously new to it and yeah, there's a lot of things that they need to remember and take into consideration, so I told them, hey, just do it slowly. Don't do it over time like I did. So yeah, they just like slowly starting to cut out like all the like meat and like dairy products and all that, but they're going strong. They're doing really well and even faster than what I expected. So yeah, they like sent me pictures of their meals, and I was like, damn, that looks actually really nice. I should try that. Yeah. So that's also another big highlight in the diamond.
What was the benefit that you saw into continuing a plant-based diet?
Yeah. Interesting question. Benefits. Oh man, there's so much. Like, where to start? Just overall health, like body composition just changed. Like taste buds changed. Like foods that I never ate, I love now. For example, eggplant.
Oh yeah.
I hated that when I was younger and
Yeah?
before I went vegan. Like I would refuse to eat that shit.
Yeah.
And now, like, bring it on.
Yeah.
Just like, yeah, so taste bud change, like just energy levels, you feel light. You know, like whenever you have like a heavy meat meal or whatever, and like
Food
afterwards,
coma.
yeah, you just feel like, fuck, I need to lie down. Like I need
Yeah.
to take a nap. Like I don't feel like that at all.
Mm.
It is so nice. Like I can like go do shit after I had a massive meal.
Yeah.
And I mean, I need to eat a lot because I'm really active and my goals for CrossFit is quite high, which we'll get into most probably.
Doing fucking 180 kilo deadlift
Yeah,
without
that's another thing. That's another benefit. Like my strength and recovery just like shot up so much.
Yeah.
I was really surprised.
Yeah.
Like I remember before I went vegan, like I struggled to back squat 180.
Oh.
I mean, sorry, 80 kilos. Sorry, not 180, 80 kilos. I struggled to squat 80 kilos, and my 1 rep max now is 150. Without a belt.
That part, no, like equipment. Nah, I do not get that part, man.
So
That is crazy.
it's like the strength is just obviously exercise plays a role in it as well. But I mean, if your diet is shit, you can't recover well, you don't feed your body the nutrients that it needs, you won't be able to push like that, right? Deadlift 181 is my PR without a belt, without straps. I mean, the proof is on my Instagram. If the audience...
I'm gonna put them up because that like even like bro, I still cannot like understand.
Clean and jerk 110 kilos. Squat clean 110. My bench is most probably the weakest part, and snatch in terms of movement.
Yeah.
Like I don't know if like I've always had a weak chest.
Is that because of the shoulder thing you mentioned?
Yeah, I guess so. Because my overhead mobility is really poor, which I'm working on. So like I think my 1 rep max bench is 100 kilos.
Oh, okay. Only. Oh, sorry.
Like if you put that in, like if you put that next to all the other things that I can do, like the weight, it's just like like front squat 130 kilos.
Yeah.
Well, okay, snatch is like 75 kilos, which is what I weigh. So, yeah, that obviously I can improve that like a lot. I want to be able to snatch 100. So I want to get everything in the 100 mark.
I see.
Yeah, so that's the goal.
Yeah.
But yeah, like strength-wise, increase recovery. Like I did the CrossFit New Zealand Nationals 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Which is a 2-day competition. We had 4 workouts on the first day and 3 in the second day. And I can tell you it's tough. It's brutal. Like just the recovery that you need to do the next workout. It's like if you watch the CrossFit Games, if anyone watches that, like you don't realize what goes through through your head and what physical strength you need to push through those days, because that's like a 4-day competition and you do like 15 workouts in those 4 days, right? Where I did like 7 in 2 days. It still takes a toll on your body, and if you want to perform well, you need to recover really fast. And just being on a plant-based diet, like your recovery just is so much better because of all the nutrients that you get in, like the carbs for recovery, the protein for muscle repair, the vitamins, antioxidants, minerals, for also recovery and all that. It's just crazy. Like you can push harder, you can train longer, you can do more sets, more work. It's just phenomenal.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's another benefit, and just overall health, really. Reducing your risk of cardiovascular disease, diabetes, any cancer, really. Even it's got a cognitive benefit as well. So just there's heaps of benefits. You're saving animals as well. Like when people say, "Oh, but it's free range," like that's such a nonsense concept. Like, yeah, you see them graze on the grass and like in the barns and stuff. That's free range. But you forget they still go through a slaughterhouse. They still suffer severe mental pain and trauma before they even get slaughtered. So free range, like whenever people tell me that, I just want to like get up and walk away.
Yeah.
So it's animal welfare as well. You know, you're protecting the animals. I mean, they live in sentient beings, right? Like they've got dreams, they've got feelings, they experience what we experience. So yeah, it's just that part as well, and the environment as well. Like the environment it's declining, like deforestation. It's crazy at this stage. I'm not an expert in this stuff, but it's just what I see and what I read and what's going on. It is ridiculous. It's bad to see how the earth is dying. And people just don't give a shit about that.
It's more that we're just killing it, right?
We're killing it. Yeah, intentionally. For what? For the benefit of our taste buds. You know, for slaughtering animals. For what reason? Like, why? It's because society made us believe this is the way to live.
Yeah.
So breaking that notion of society wants me to live like this, why don't people just sit back and think what they believe and what they feel is right? And I mean, us as vegans, like we understand that because we sat back and we thought about that ourselves, right? Yes, we watched these videos, and like maybe watching a documentary is not enough for one person to be convinced, to be like, oh yeah, like I need to do this. Like people react differently to certain things. If watching a documentary is what convinced you, like my parents, by all means, watch more of that. Or if you need to talk to a professional or expert in whatever area resonates with you, whether it's animal welfare, the environment, or the health benefits, go talk to that person. If it takes months, years, or whatever, just talk to that person and understand what it means. And like... And if it's like going to a slaughterhouse and actually experiencing that yourself, that might be another reason for people to be like, hang on, this is not right. So it just depends on person to person. So yeah, like those are like the main benefits really from being vegan.
God, we just talked about like for so long.
I can go on about this for ages. But yeah, let's go on to the next.
Yeah, man. I want to see what you've got in gold, and there's 27 different things in gold, which means like honestly, this is the bulk.
I'll try and keep that shorter.
I mean, no, it's all right, but it just shows that the bulk of all the things that you've done this year are actually so significant to you, which I think probably if I did this 5 years ago, everything just would have been in bronze, especially things like TV shows I watch. I actually like put games I play, shows I watch into this,
right?
And I rank them because like, why am I spending time watching something that I don't actually like?
Yeah,
you know?
That's true, yeah.
And other things like books as well. Like, why did I spend so much time reading this book that I thought was stupid? Because I felt like I had to finish the whole thing?
Yeah.
No, it's ridiculous. So, yeah, what calls out to you?
Live to 100 documentary is about the blue zones. I don't know if you heard about the blue zones.
Yes.
Which is really interesting. So they went to all the blue zones and they kind of looked at the way they live, what they eat, what they do, like how they socialize and all that stuff. And they came to a conclusion that people, like you said, with less things are actually more happy. Yeah. You don't need all these things to make life better because like I also said, the more is not always the best. So like these people, they, like you said, they have to walk to get their water. They make their food themselves, like they grow everything themselves. They make the meals themselves. They don't have these fast food restaurants and stuff where you just like park in and get something. So they grow everything themselves. They don't necessarily go to the gym and stuff. They sit on the floor. They don't have like chairs, fancy chairs and that. So they have to like move the whole time up and down and
engaging all their muscles to
exactly.
sit upright.
Yeah, exactly. Sit upright. They have to walk everywhere. They make their own wine and all that. So that's labor intensive stuff. and their diet is healthy. They keep active by doing all that stuff. So, and they're the ones that live to 100 and older. And it's not like it's a shitty life to 100 years old.
Yeah.
These people are riding horses at 101 years old.
What the hell?
It's crazy. Like,
God damn.
how awesome is that? Like, so their lifespan and health span is so great.
Yeah.
Like, who doesn't want to do that?
Dude, I saw on Rich Roll's podcast, he had a centenarian or something. Someone who's 100.
Yeah.
Dude could do 5 pull-ups at 100 years old, and I was like, bro, at that time I couldn't even do one. I'm like, I gotta get in there, man. I want to be that guy. I want to be that guy at 100 years old who shows up and I'm like, yeah, I can do more pull-ups than these like 20-year-old kids.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, it's really interesting. So I would highly recommend people watch that documentary. I believe it's still on Netflix. Yeah.
Live to 100. And was it produced? Dan Buettner is the one who.
Yeah.
Did he produce it?
Yeah.
So he authored a whole plethora of books and did the research on the blue zones themselves, which are the areas in the world where the most fulfilled people, the longest living people are. And basically, it's mostly in. The most profound one I know is in Mediterranean, but also in Okinawa in Japan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, from memory, Okinawa is no longer a blue zone.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
So
industrialization,
yeah,
I'm guessing.
I can't remember how many blue zones there were. I think there was like 12 or 14 or something like that. And I think half of that is no longer blue zones.
Wow.
Correct me if I'm speaking under correction over here. But yeah, from memory, not a lot of them are left.
Yeah.
But one profound one as well is Loma Linda in California.
Okay.
I believe it's in California. Yeah, so it's interesting, like one part of that city, it's really industrialized, like diabetes and heart disease and all that is like on the rise there. And literally just across the road is Loma Linda, where it's like people live to 100.
Wow.
Literally across the road.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's insane. But yeah, unfortunately, not all the blue zones are blue zones anymore.
Because we're losing the scope of what's important in society and especially community. I think social connection to me was one of the most surprising factors in the fact that it can literally increase your lifespan, and general health metrics like your blood pressure and things like that are regulated by connecting and talking to people, especially in person. Yeah. As opposed to, just looking at a screen online. Yeah. The conversation that we could have had on a video call completely different to what we're doing right now. Yeah. Right?
Yeah. So much better with actual human interaction.
Exactly. No, I feel it, man.
Right. So let's go further down the list.
Go ahead.
One thing that's what I never thought would be an achievement for me is, this might sound strange, but buying plants, house plants.
Yes. I'm totally with you on that, man.
It's so weird, but I mean, yeah, it's just like I had fake plants in my house before, just because it's nice. Yeah. It brings some greenery into the space. Yeah. But you don't actually look after something else than yourself if it's fake plants. So you can be, again, more fixed on yourself rather than all the other things around you that is of importance as well. Yeah. So last year I was like, you know what, I'm just going to buy some plants. So I bought 3 plants. Yeah. And I was like, just 3, just for a starter, and see how it goes, So this is basically, I did it because I knew I lacked what do you call it, like taking care of something else and not just myself. So I was like, well, if I want to improve that, I need to start small. And I was like, okay, well, I'll buy some plants and just look after that. And that kind of And it's weird, but like even a small thing like that, you care about a plant. Like you want it to thrive, right? You want it to make it look nice, and it like brings nice greenery into the house, some oxygen as well.
Yeah.
And just nurturing it and seeing how it grows and flourishes, and it brings such joy to life.
Yeah.
You know, like now you know, like, oh, you know what, I actually do care about other things than myself.
And that's actually nice to have that almost, you'd almost call it a burden, but that responsibility, right?
Yeah, there you go. Another responsibility. And like, all of us can have so many responsibilities, but you can make room for just caring about something else or someone else than yourself. Yeah. And I had to learn that the hard way, and that's why I just bought a plant. Yeah. 3 actually. And I mean, they've like growing really well now, and they're really happy. So it makes me happy because now I know, like, oh, cool, I can take care of something else rather than myself and focus on other areas as well. Yeah. And I feel that's important too in life, like just caring about other people and other things. It's not just about you. Yeah. Like life is not just about you, right? It's about family, friends, other living beings, and just enjoying life.
Yeah, man, totally. Yeah. Like this is I mean, it's not real, but it's a big thing in games where even in like games where the majority of the thing is fighting, gamers will like make this like elaborate design of their like house they have or the garden, where it's like, what's the point of this game? Is to like fight and stuff, but bro, check out my garden collection. and it's the same call on life. Is like, we can't just do the quote unquote productive thing all the time. We need a break from it, and finding what that looks like in your own life. For you found it's plants. For someone else, it might be something else, but you have to do it to discover it. And before I intentionally thought about, you know, life design in general, I didn't even know what that looked like because I only thought about doing that in games. I love doing that in games. I spent so much time and effort, but my own room was a mess. Such a mess. And until I really put that in order, I couldn't respect myself, because I guess the fact that you can take time to care about something else almost establishes that you have a decent ground of support for yourself as well, you know? Yeah, man.
Yeah, it's just like you said, it's just support of yourself, and it's just just going the step further. And like, I mean, like you said, if you can have all these thoughts, but if you don't put it in practice, how do you know if it's going to work or if it's something that you're passionate about? Like, you know, so I bought the plants. I was like, okay, cool, I'm going to do it. And like my goal is to start my own veggie garden. Yeah. So, I mean, if I can't look after 3 plants, like what is the chances that I'm going to be able to look at my own veggie garden, you know? Yeah. So it's like small steps, small baby steps. That's all you need. It's not like shoot for the roof and like, okay, shoot for the roof, but take small steps to get there. Don't just go like all out and then it fails, and then it's not necessarily fail, but it might. But then it's going to be more for like the psychological effect most probably is going to be like, oh, I'm not good enough. Like, you know, and then that's going to have other effects on your life. And so, this is what I like about this as well. It's just recognizing the small achievements and build from there. Instead of like thinking high, thinking about all the biggest achievements you've made in life. And then if you haven't got anything, or if you haven't achieved 3 things in life that is big, then it's going to put you down. And you're not going to be able to achieve the small things, which are as equally as important.
Totally, man. Yeah. That really reminds me of the principle of game design, which is like a game designer will not let you build a whole veggie garden from the start. They will force you to go through the levels, and that's the thing, because they know that if they let you have all that freedom, you'd probably let yourself down by failing it, right? And so we almost need to design our lives in the same way. We have these massive aspirations and everything, but if we set ourselves that target from the get-go, yes, it's nice to look forward to that, but having that as the only metric of success means that every day that we do not hit that, essentially we're a failure. Yeah. Right? And that's something, again, that probably in a business you would go towards that goal. But in game design, game designers would never imagine it because of the fact that gamers can put a game down at any time. And game designers have understood that to make gamers engaged with what they're playing, they have to make them productive. They have to make them go towards goals that they can achieve, that they have the abilities to, and put them in that channel of flow. And so it's not just about rewarding yourself all the time or making everything fun.
Yeah.
It's about setting yourself a target that you can hit realistically. And it's almost like our parents do this for us when we're children, right? But when we grow up, it's not like that they directly tell us we need to do this, but we need to learn to do that for ourselves. And I don't think there's no formal education on what that even looks like.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Man.
And it's more also about enjoying the journey.
Yes.
And not just the end result.
Yes.
Because you have to go through the journey to enjoy the achievement or the end result that you want. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's the thing. Do businesses care about the journey? Fuck no. Fuck no.
It's a hard journey.
Yeah, it's a hard journey. All they care about is the result.
Yeah.
And that's the difference between business owners and game developers, is that for business owners, the fulfillment of the employee who has to do the work, who has to go through the journey, is secondary or even less than. They do not care if you're fulfilled while you put out the metrics that we need. Whereas that is everything for game designers. And that's why they get gamers so hooked on all these things. Because as soon as the gamer is not fulfilled by the journey of achieving their goals, they'll just go and do something else.
Exactly.
Because they don't, like, you have to go to work, but you don't have to play games.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. I was like, I was really hooked on looking at especially self-help books, which primarily use business productivity frameworks to help you design your life, where most of the things that we want to improve in life, like nutrition, diet, exercise, sleep, meditation, and that, I don't have to do any of those things.
Yeah.
So if I use the frameworks where people are getting paid to use these frameworks and mold them into a frame where I don't get paid to sleep, I don't get paid to meditate, I don't get paid to wake up at 5 a.m. to go to the gym. Fuck, I wish, bro. It doesn't work the same, you know? So we have to use different frameworks to encourage ourselves.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that kind of... Actually, I want to point out the body recomp.
Oh, yeah. We can talk about that.
So you went from... Is this in a span of a year? 18.1% body fat to 12% body fat?
No, that's actually in a span of like 7 weeks.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Whoa. Okay. Yeah. Tell me about that.
So, yeah, like obviously me being a sports nutritionist and exercising a lot, like I kind of understand, well, not kind of, but I do understand how human physiology works. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I mean, when I was 18.1% body fat, like I've always had a low body fat percentage, like, but when I hit 18.1, I was like, something is not right.
Yeah.
So what happened at that time is I was playing around with creating my own macronutrient and calorie calculator for my business. I mean, that's the things you have to go through, right? Is design your own things, and so it's accurate and you can have the best results for your clients. So I built this and I was like, right, let's put it to the test. Yep. Because you have to test it yourself before you give it to clients, right? Yep. Otherwise, that might happen. So I designed this, and it came to that I have to eat like, what was it, 4,500 calories a day.
Because base rate for most people is like between 2.5 for males.
Yeah, it depends like on obviously activity level, height, age, and all that stuff. But yeah, so I was on 4,500 calories based on what my goals were. And my goals was to gain weight and muscle, obviously, and lose fat. Yeah. So I can perform better in CrossFit. So I was like, right, I'm going to do this. I ate 4,500 calories a day. I can't remember what my macronutrient split was, but it was crazy. And it was a struggle to eat that much food.
That's what I was going to ask you about, man.
Being plant-based, like the volume was just ridiculous. Like I would sit an hour and eat lunch. It would take me an hour to finish. And dinner as well.
Like full dedicated, full focus on like eating
It
as well.
felt like a full-time job, man. Like,
I know it's like
people would look at me in the office and like, even now, like, yeah, I still eat a lot, but like when I ate the 4,500, people look at me like, how the hell do you fit all that in your body? And it's like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I burn a lot of calories as well.
Yeah.
So anyway, so after a couple, I think it was like 3 months or something that I was on that 4,500 calorie nutrition plan. When I did the scan, I saw body fat 18.1%. I was like, oh shit. And I did gain muscle, but I gained more fat than muscle.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, this is not great. This is not what I wanted.
Yeah.
So then I went back to the drawing board and I redesigned my calorie calculator after doing, again, another bunch of research and playing around a bit. And then I was like, right, we're going to try the new way. And yeah, like after 7-8 weeks, when I went for the scan again, because it's after each cycle that we have at CrossFit, which is a 6-week cycle. Then normally on the 7th week or 8th week, we do the scan.
Yep.
And then I dropped to 12.8% body fat. And I lost fat, obviously, but I gained muscle as well.
Yeah.
And it's just, that comes back to the nutrition is individualized. Like I had to find what works for me, and I found that. And it's all about experimenting, like with the clients. Like if I get a client, I tell them like, hey, we might not hit what you want in the first 4 to 6 weeks because we need to try and like see what works. It's trial and error, right?
You need to learn about
you need
who
to learn.
you are and
exactly.
what you are first.
Yeah. So there's a lot of things that go into that, and it took me a year to figure out what mine is. And yeah, so that dropped to 12.8% body fat. It increased now a little bit, so I'm currently at 13.7.
Yep.
Which is not that bad. But yeah, so, and I mean, the muscle gain went up from 34.8 kilos to 36.6 kilos in the same time with that the body fat percentage drop. Yeah, so that was also a really big achievement for me.
Yeah.
I was really impressed when I saw that. I was like, yeah.
And you see it in the mirror as well, basically.
Yeah,
right?
you do. Like, and even when I was 18.1% body fat, I was almost 76 kilos and my goal was 75.
Yeah.
But like even doing CrossFit, like the gymnastics part, I struggled because I was so much heavier.
Yeah, pull-ups
Like,
and everything.
yeah, the pull-ups, muscle-ups, handstand push-ups, handstand walk, like that, I just struggled.
Yeah.
So, and it's maybe not because of, it's because of the weight gain, but it's because I carried so much fat as well. And like now I'm 73 kilos, so I dropped a little bit, but I mean, my strength increased, my body fat decreased, muscle increased, and I'm just getting stronger and stronger and fitter and fitter. So I know, like, oh, cool, I don't need to be 18.1% or 75 kilos in weight. I can be what I am now.
Yeah.
Like, my goal is still to get to 75 and stay there, and to drop the body fat percentage to 10. That's my goal. Nice. And then, because anything below that, it's not really good for you. Yeah,
you just feel like shit anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
Like you'll physically look better, but you will feel
shit. Yeah. And I would rather want to feel good and look okay than look excellent and feel shit. Yeah.
I went through that. Bodybuilding on animal-based diet, eating more than 3 chicken breasts a day, salmon, pork, 4 to 5 eggs a day, looked fucking amazing. Felt terrible. Yeah. And the funniest thing is that I'm lactose intolerant, and to get my protein, whey and like this dairy milk that's like high protein dairy. Every day I would drink like 2 milkshakes of that. Whoa. Because I was like, I need to hit my macros, bro. Need to hit my macros. And like, bro, my stomach was dying every single day just to hit that. And it got to the point where I was like, what the fuck? I finally stepped back and was like, what the fuck am I doing?
Yeah.
man?"
Yeah, it's horrible feeling like that.
Yeah.
Like, it's
Yeah.
it's not great. But yeah, that's the body comp part.
It still amazes me that you have so much in gold, which is really good. Like the overwhelming majority of everything you did last year is so impactful to you, which is
Yeah.
really cool. Is there anything that you see in here again that calls out to you?
That one is the nuclear effect.
Yes.
Yeah. So those ones are it's like business books.
Yeah.
Just like learning what you need to do and how to market, and like what's the framework that you can follow to be successful and grow your business. Because I had to read all these books for the start of my company, right? So like and I just like the Sell Like Crazy. I think I read that in a week.
Oh wow.
I was like so invested in this book. I was like, oh yeah, this is so awesome. So I like took notes, and I obviously tried the things that they speak about in the book. And yeah, it's just like self-development really. Reading the books, like I read 3 books last year, and for some people it might be not a lot, but for me that was a great achievement because I'm so busy with other things in life as well, and I wasn't always a reader. Like I never liked reading books when I was younger. I hated it. But the older you get, the wiser you get, right?
So you start reading more books.
So you start to read more books. And yeah, it's just like reading now is so important to me. Like I actually enjoy it. Like I would go to the beach and I'd read a book.
Yeah.
Like I'd chill the whole day there. Again, that's where like that's my downtime where I don't think about anything. But then reading the book there as well, it's like I'm hitting 2 birds with 1 stone.
Yeah.
You know. So like reading those books just helped me gain the understanding and what I need to do to excel in my business. And you know, you learn from your peers and from books and all that stuff. You got to find what works for you.
Yeah.
And now like I've got like a whole bookcase with a couple of books that I've already read in the past like 4 years or so.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, just like reading it's really cool, and I enjoy it. It also makes you smart. Well, I don't know if it directly makes you smarter, but just like your word choices, and you think differently. Like it develops your brain.
Yeah.
Which is also a thing that's really important for me, is just to keep on developing the brain and like staying, you know, cognitive, like having that cognitive incline and all that, just improving that mental health part. Because I mean, like, you know, with COVID and all that, a lot of people suffered with like mental health and all that. So and I just feel like reading is, for me, it's a way of just staying on top of my mental health and just learning more things.
That you've had a very intentional year. You've had a year of things that mean so much to you.
Yeah,
you know?
because like you said, you just don't think about these things up until you jot them down, and then you actually think about it and you rank them, which I think this is so awesome that you can rank them, because it just makes you think like, hey, I've come really far. Like all the things that I've done, it requires a lot of time, you know, blood, sweat and tears and all that stuff. So you have to be thankful, you know, and just enjoy the journey. So yeah, like 7 things, 2 of them is traveling again. Meditation, that's one thing. Like I started to meditate in the beginning of last year, and I tried doing it for long, but I struggled.
Honestly, from what you've told me about the experience at the beach is to you, it sounds like literally just being at the beach is a form of active meditation for you, really. So I feel like that's where it is. That's the thing with meditation, is that it just looks like, oh, you have to sit down and breathe and that's it. And that's the only way you can meditate. And if you don't do that, then you're not mindful or whatever. But you understand from your own experience that going to the beach provides that for you. Staring at the waves and soaking it all in gives you such a sense of calm. And that's what we're after. So it doesn't matter if you sit down on a fucking yoga mat and do that stuff. find what works for you, right?
Yeah. I guess now that you mentioned that I never thought of it like that. Like, you're right. People think, when they think about meditation, oh, you sit in the corner on your yoga mat with like a candle or whatever, and you close your eyes and nothing's working. Floating. Oh shit, sorry.
Yeah, like start floating. Man, I'm in a different universe.
Some people do it that way, which is great. Works for them. But now that you mention it, like, going to the beach is my form of meditation. Yeah. Like, even just walking on the beach along the water, like it's, or even just being in the water, like bodyboarding or surfing and swimming, like, it's just so nice. Like, even though like waves and the currents and stuff can be so strong, like, and you need to, like, obviously expand energy, and like you need to work for, like staying afloat and surfing and all that, it's just still being active. That's still a part of or form of meditation for me. So I guess I can actually rank that up then to I would say, what's this, bronze, right? You can jump it up to gold.
Let's go.
I reckon.
Nice.
Yeah. Especially in the summer, like this summer, it was so nice. Finally, we had a good summer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've been waiting for that.
Yeah,
man.
we've been waiting.
We got in New Zealand, we got robbed every fucking year for the last 2 or 3 years of summer.
Yeah.
I feel it, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. I guess based on, again, the ranking that you've had of the achievements that you've had this year and the distribution of them especially, what do you feel, wrapping up, that you want to focus on for this year? What are like the key, like if I were to give you only 3 options in all these areas of life, what would your like focus areas be in terms of giving you a fulfilling year for this year?
Yeah, sure. Attachment.
Yeah.
Definitely attachment.
Going to see your family.
Yeah, but not just that, like just friends over here as well.
Yeah.
Just having more close friendships.
Yeah.
People that you can turn to in tough times. Like, everyone goes through a tough time in life, and you want someone to support you, right? But like, you don't want to reach out to them just in tough times, but you want to share the great times with them as well. It's not like, oh, you're just going to be my friend if I go through a shit time. You know, it's like, nah. So just building like the close relationships as well, and just doing more things with friends, like finding friends that's got similar values to you, because you want to share similar things, right? Because if you have the same values, the experiences that you're going to have together is going to be so much nicer, and you're going to remember that like forever, instead of like, if you don't have like the same values or the same beliefs or same interests, like there might be a bit of a rough patch or so. So it's just like building those relationships, which I think I need more of that. So life force can also be one.
That you want to focus.
That I want to focus on. So attachment, life force, and I'm pretty happy with strength. Persistence, I'm happy with.
I'm guessing the business. Creativity.
Yeah, the creativity.
Well, turning creativity into contribution.
Exactly. So I think those 3 are the ones that I want to focus on this year. And I've already jotted down my goals for this year. And yes, one of them was to do my nutrition business full time.
Nice.
So that's where the creativity one comes in.
Yeah, man.
But attachment, life force, creativity.
There it is.
There it is.
There it is, man. I'm so to wrap up, man. I'm just so happy to help you go through this, because I think, like I said, with goal setting or like reflections, it's usually this boring ass PDF that you type in, like, oh, I read this many books this year. Oh, I took on more clients this year and stuff like that. And I would have never, if I brought you on a podcast in that style of manner, I would have never known how much the beach means to you, how much your grandmother means to you, how much your family means to you, how much, buying a ticket home means, you know? All these amazing things about you that I usually shoved away because it's not productive or it's not a metric of success. You know? And I think this is what I want to do with people. And actually something that you brought up before is that, I want to do more of your nutrition business to, like live the dream. The thing is, I would say for myself and both you is that you've got the clients, you are helping clients achieve their goals. And for me, this is something that I love. We are living the dream. We just don't have the sustainability to keep it going, right?
Yeah.
And I think the hardest thing is to remind ourselves that if it was insanely extrinsically successful, we'd still be doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Right?
Pretty much.
Exactly. So we're living it up, man.
Yeah.
We're fucking living it up.
Yeah, it just takes a bit more time, really.
Yeah.
Like it's like I said, it's just the journey that you got to enjoy.
Yeah.
And I mean, when you're gonna reach that point, no one knows. You don't know.
Yeah.
It might happen soon. It might take a bit longer. The important thing is just to keep on going.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I loved what you did over here. It's so cool. Like, because I would have never thought of these things by myself.
Yeah.
I mean, jumping from 11 to 59. Like, so just like the whole concept and the way you designed it is so cool, man.
Thank you.
I really love it. And it makes me like think, or sit back and think about life, and like, oh, I thought this was important, but actually it's not that important. And
That's the rank.
what I didn't think is not important is actually really important. And you just keep on coming up with new things. And that kind of rewires your brain, I would say. Like now I would go home and be like, you know what? I don't want to do this, but I rather want to do this,
Like schedule more time to go to the beach.
Yeah.
Different beaches.
Exactly. Yeah.
kind of stuff,
And
right?
and not sitting the whole weekend and working on my business and making time for the meditation, going to the beach.
Yeah.
Then I can be more productive when I get back or the next day. Because like creating content and like just doing your business, and you know this as well, you have to be creative, right? And in order to get that creativity, you need to step back and take a bit of time offline and reflect, meditate, just like chill a little bit, do other things than just work, because we're not robots. Right?
Exactly.
We're human beings. You got to make room and space for all the other things that are as equally important as business and finance and all that stuff. So yeah, I really enjoyed this. Thank you so much, Michael.
No problem.
It was awesome, man. I would love to do another one, actually.
Yeah, man. Totally.
Yeah.
Totally. Whenever I'm back up in Auckland, I'd be happy to do it.
Well, I can come down to New Plymouth. We can go for a surf together.
Sick. Yeah. We'd have a board for you because my dad's got tons.
Oh, cool.
My dad's got tons. So yeah, man.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Cool, man. Last tradition in my podcast is a hug. And that's it.
Thank you so much, brother. Thanks, bro. That was awesome. That was so cool.